ॐ अज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। नमः ॐ विष्णुपदाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्तस्वामी इति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती
सरस्वती
देवी
देवी
गौरवाणी
गौरवाणी
प्रचारिणी
प्रचारिणी
निर्विशेष
निर्विशेष
शून्यवादी पश्यता देशतारिणी। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैता गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम राम राम
राम
हरे
हरे
हरे।
हरे
हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हे कृष्णा करुणा सिंधु दीनबंधु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कांता राधा कांत नमोस्तुते। नमो ब्राह्मण देवाय गो ब्राह्मण हिताय च जगद्हिताय कृष्णाय गोविंदाय ते नमः। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो महावदन्याय कृष्ण प्रेम प्रदायते कृष्णाय कृष्ण चैतन्य नाम्ने गौरत्षे नमः। वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। अनंत कोटि वैष्णव की जय। नमः हरिदास ठाकुर की जय। श्रील प्रभुपाद की जय। हरे कृष्णा एवरीवन।
हरे कृष्ण माता जी।
हरे कृष्णा। Okay. 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 Hare Krishna. I welcome everyone. So today,
हरे कृष्ण
Hare Krishna from Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. So today we are at chapter 14, uh, the three modes of material nature. What is it also called as? What is the name of the chapter in Sanskrit? Guna, Traya Vibhaga Yoga, right? So three modes. So what are the three modes of material nature? Yes, we have been hearing about these three modes in the previous chapters, right? So what are these three modes?
goodness
Mode of goodness,
passion
yes,
passion
passion,
ignorance
yeah. And which mode we have to come to? Which mode we have to come to? Is it enough to come to mode of goodness, or
sattva is to come sattva
sattva guna? Yes, sattva guna we should come, because unless we come to sattva guna, we cannot develop devotion for Krishna. I mean, we will not be able to understand anything in the Shastras unless we come to the platform of sattva guna. But even that is a binding. That is what we will understand from Lord in this chapter. Even sattva guna is also a binding, the conditioned soul to stay back in this world. So which guna we have to come to? Yes, which is that guna that we have to raise above mode of goodness. What is that called? Which is above the mode of goodness?
Is it surrender unto the Lord?
Yeah, surrender unto Lord is there in Sattva Guna also. So, what is that name of the mode? So, there are three modes here, the main modes which we all know: mode of goodness, mode of passion, mode of ignorance. But there is something else, one more mode, where Krishna says in this chapter that we have to come to that mode. So, what is that called? Is anyone else want to give a try? Manohar Punjabi Prabhuji? Nobody even knows? No one has heard so far?
Mataji,
Bhagya Mataji?
mode of devotion.
No?
Sorry.
No one? None of you know? Okay. It's a pure mode of goodness. Shuddha Sattva Guna. Sattva Guna, Shuddha Sattva Guna. Pure mode. Right? That's also called as Vasudeva Sthiti. So usually the pure devotees, we read in many chapters, no, that they are above these three modes. They don't come in three modes because they're transcendental to three modes. What is meaning transcendental? What is the meaning of the word transcendental? Transcendental means somebody who is not in these three modes. He is above that. So that person is transcendental. Usually Krishna, we say that Krishna is nirguna, means he don't have any quality. What quality he don't have? Means not the material quality. So he's not bound by any of this material thing. No, material quality is not there. Not guna is there, but he is nirguna, means he is above these three quality because he is the one who handle these three modes. No, he's above that. So the pure mode of goodness is what we have to aim for. But but so initially for that we need to at least come to platform of sattva. So let's bear obeisances to Shri Shri Radha Govind. So now our ISKCON Mangaluru PT is so beautiful. So chapter 13, this is what we learned in the last week. Arjuna asked 6 questions. What is Prakriti? What is Purusha, Kshetra, Kshetragna, Jnanam and Neyam? Okay, so can someone tell me in short, what is Kshetra? What is Kshetra? What was the comparison? Krishna answered for Kshetra.
Field of knowledge.
Yeah, field. What is that field? What is that field? Kshetra is a field. So what is it?
Kshetrajna.
Jiva. It
Field
is a
of knowledge.
Jivan, soul.
The body. The
Body.
body. Yeah, the material body is Kshetra. Okay. And the soul is a Kshetragna. It's not a Kshetra.
Yeah.
Because there are 2 Kshetragnas in our body. Who are they?
One is the soul, one is the other is super soul.
Yeah. So 2 Kshetragnas we have. And what is Jnanam? So all this understanding how it works, no? The Prakriti, Purusha and Kshetragna, understanding this is the Jnanam, the knowledge. And also in detail we saw, like from chapter, I think it was from 8 to 12 shlokas, where Krishna says what is the real knowledge. Apart from this, everything that is not considered to be a knowledge. Huh? That we saw, like it starts with humility and different things, like one should not be very much attached to the material life and all that. So then the Gneyam, what is the goal? What is the goal of knowing all this knowledge? Why should we know? What did Krishna say actually? What is the goal? Gneyam. Yes. What is the goal of learning all this language?
To know Krishna.
Yes, good. So yeah, Krishna is the goal. No, he's the we learn whatever knowledge we acquire or we do bhakti. Everything is to ultimately to know the Lord, right? So why should we know Lord? What is the advantage of knowing Krishna? What does Krishna say? Krishna says in chapter 4, right? Knowing me and my activities. Janma karma cha me divyam evam yo veti tattvataha tyaktva deham punar janma naiti mameti sorjana.
We will
So
not
if,
take birth and death again.
yeah,
Mataji.
yes. So if we understand about Krishna, that is the advantage. We don't have to come back to this material world again, right? So then we understood, so Krishna answers all this. So who can understand? Only the person who is in a knowledge, right? So Jnana Chakshusha. So in chapter 14, we have 5 sections. So the section A, the liberation and conditioning of the living entity, how we get conditioned, and how a living entity or the soul can become liberated. So this has been explained. And description of binding of pure soul by 3 modes. So basically the soul by nature is pure, but then how it get conditioned by these 3 modes. And that is being explained in section B. Section C, we see recognizing the supremacy a mode within a person. Like how it is not like always in one mode. So in a day, we go through different modes, right? It has been recognizing what mode I am. Like usually in the early mornings, it will be in mostly, most of the people will be in mode of goodness. Early morning. That is why it is the ideal time for doing any devotional service. So that time, so that you can always try to more, I mean, change. We always have the freedom to change from one mode to the other. So how it all depends on the association we make. We understood in the chapter 13. No, Karana Guna Sangosya Sadasadyoni Janmasu. Krishna says, like the based on the association the living entity associates, he will get that kind of birth. So it's all because of the mode, what kind of mode we associate with. So, and how it dominates. Sometimes in the same person, the Sattva Guna dominates. Sometimes we feel like helping others. Sometimes it is like more of Rajasic. So it is a domination of different modes. And then in section D, we see actions and death within the modes. And section E, transcending the modes. So how one person can come above all the 3 modes. So what is Jnana Chakshusha? So anyone wants to read? Can just go ahead.
Yes, Mataji.
Yeah.
Jnana Chakshusha. Whatever is created is but combination of the living entity and material nature without the touch of the superior nature. The living entity, nothing can grow. But actually, after destruction of the body, both soul and the super soul exist. And they go on eternal in many various moving and non-moving forms. Because of desires, one is put into difficult circumstances to suffer or to enjoy. When one sees that the various bodies of living entities arise due to the difference to different desires of the individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. Similarly, the living entity, even though situated in the variety of bodies, is aloof from them due to his subtle nature. Therefore, it is impossible to see with the material eyes how the living entity is in contact with this body and how he is out of it after the destruction of the body. Consciousness is the proof of the presence of the soul, as the sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of sun. Super soul situated in all bodies as the friend of the individual soul. Hare Krishna.
Yeah.
Is there any other line, Nikhil?
Yeah, in all bodies as a friend of individual soul. Something is there. Let me check.
Not able to.
Yeah. It says is conscious of all bodies. So basically, consciousness is the proof of presence of soul, as sunshine or light is the proof of the presence of sun. Super soul situated in all bodies as the friend of the individual soul is conscious of all bodies. Because super soul is aware of all the bodies. That is what it is saying. So what is Jnana Chakshusha? What is Chakshu? Anyone knows what is Chakshu? What is Chakshu? Chakshu.
I.
Yes. So what is Jnana Chakshu? Seeing with the knowledge, seeing
Knowledge.
anything with knowledge, right? So there is also prema chakshu. We see in Brahma Samhita where Lord Brahma says the saintly people, I mean the devotees, always they see the Shama Sundar roop of the Lord because they are always in devotion. They are so much in love with Krishna. 24, they are able to see Krishna all the time, like the two-handed form of the Lord. But this is a jnana chakshu. So this is also required because unless we have that, we don't understand. Otherwise, most of the time we think that I'm this body. But actually, whatever is happening, it is because of three modes of material nature. Everything is happening. Whatever I'm thinking, this is me. And all the time we think that the identification with my body and I'm seeing others also the way I see or I perceive things. Because in the same situation, we see like in the chapter 1, observing the armies, right? So it was the situation was same, but the persons who were seeing that Arjuna was seeing out of compassion, he was in Sattva-guna. But Duryodhana, same scene, but he was seeing in a different. He was very much agitated towards his by when he saw that Drishtadyumna had led such a nice army, and it is all because he had his guru that Dronacharya had given him the military secrets, no military art. Why did he teach Drishtadyumna? Because he knew that he is going to get killed. So he was a bit agitated. He was in a Rajasic mode. And then his father, Dhritarashtra, he was in Tamoguna. So we see this happens even in our homes or outside. We see situations like when something is happened, people react to the same situation differently. This is all because of these three gunas. So this understanding will come only when we have that knowledge. Only with knowledge we understand, okay, all this is happening because of three modes. And this nothing to do with the soul, right? Soul has nothing to do with, soul is not associated. Only thing, what does that soul do? What is the thing which is there in hand of soul? What is it? Why is it we are taking, if soul is not doing anything, why is that I'm suffering, I'm taking birth again and again? What is the reason? Yes. What is the
Soul,
reason?
soul in consciousness now, Mataji. Without soul, will be out of consciousness.
No. Why am I? Yeah, yes, correct. Without soul, consciousness is not there because consciousness is the symptom of the soul. So, if anything, there is a, I mean, if by what the difference between a dead body and living body is the consciousness only. Because the soul is not there, then there is no living being there. So, what I asking is, if what is that one thing which is in the hand of soul? Because here it is said that soul is not doing anything. See this line. When one sees that various bodies of living entities arise due to different desires of individual soul and do not actually belong to the soul itself, one actually sees. So basically, soul is not doing anything, but then it is doing one thing for which it is suffering and taking so many births. What is that? What is that?
Desires.
Yeah, very good. So it is a desires. Otherwise, why will we take birth? Huh? Only because of this desire. This is the only desire that the desire that I'm having for sense gratification or which is making me far from Krishna is the desire. This also we will see in the huh?
Material desire.
Yes, very good. Material desire. So basically the material desires, yes, Prabhupada says desire we should have, but it should be spiritual desires. But we have material desire. That is what? Because of desire, the soul does only desire. And rest all everything, it is by Krishna and material nature. They plan because the soul has desired, then being Lord, he has to give whatever he is desiring. So that is what? That is why soul is has to come back and it has to take a different body and it suffers, right? So that's what we saw in previous chapter. How it will go through the different bodies based on the association. So the section A, the liberation and conditioning of living entities. Shri Bhagavan Vacha Param bhuya pravakshyami jnananam jnanamuttamam yajnatva munayas sarve param siddhimito gataha. The Supreme Personality of Godhead said, "Again, I shall declare to you this supreme wisdom, the best of all knowledge, knowing which all the sages have attained the supreme perfection." So Krishna is again calling this as a best of knowledge. No? Again, we saw like highest knowledge. Every time Krishna is stressing that this is also the highest knowledge. And here we understand that the three modes of nature, because perfection means what? Perfection means coming to the stage of self-realization and raising above three modes. So how did these sages, who are these sages? Anyone knows who are these sages? Any of you remember from the level 1 class? These
Janma
sages
Mrityu
are,
Jara Vyadhi.
no, that is four problems, primary problems.
Are they
The
Sapta
sages,
Maharshis, Mataji?
huh?
Sapta Maharshis? No, right? I'm just.
No, it is Nava Yogendras. They are 9 people. They are the sages. Okay. Anybody else want? No?
No.
Whose sons were they? There was one,
Kapila Muni.
Rishabdeva. They were son of,
Yeah, correct.
yeah, they were son of Rishabdeva. So Rishabdeva is also Shaktya Vishavatar of Lord Shri Krishna. He also comes in Bhagavatam. He was a king, but then all his sons became Brahmanas. This is again one more instance which proves that the birth is not by, so it is not just decided just by taking a birth in a certain family. So how can a Kshatriya sons, they became Brahmanas? No, it is always the quality. So that is why even Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada, like he or Prabhupada, Srila Prabhupada. So they all, how did they initiate the devotees? Based on the qualities, no? They made, like, even the persons who were eating meat, like in the West, they were having, I mean, they were lechas, Prabhupada. I mean, the devotees, they only say we were a lecha, means the lowest, like the person who is eating. I mean, even the dog meat also, like there are people. But then even they can come to the platform of Brahmana, not even Brahmana, Vaishnava, like higher to the Brahmana. So these sages have attained that position. So this was an instance when these Navayogendras, they come to King Nimi. Okay, there was a king called Nimi, where they come, and the king Nimi asked them the prediction of what the incarnations that they are going to come in Kali Yuga. Anyone knows what did they say? Anyone knows which incarnation they mentioned? Actually, they mentioned all the incarnation, and Kali Yuga, they mentioned about the incarnation of what? Which avatar or avatari? Anyone know?
Kali?
Kalki avatar.
Kalki.
Okay, okay.
Kal-
Is it only Kalki is coming in Kali Yuga, or anybody else has come?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Yes, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Chaitanya.
So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's prediction was given by these sages. So this comes in Bhagavatam, right? They only predicted that when 500 years, I mean, after 4,500 years, now we have passed 5,000 years, no, in Kali Yuga. So this was around 500 years back when Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came. So this was predicted. So Krishna Varnam Tvisha Krishnam Sangopanga Saparsadam Yagnai Sankirtana Prayir Yajantihi Sumedasha. So this was predicted by these sages that Lord Krishna is going to come as Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So so even Lord Rishabhadeva, his teachings are there in Bhagavatam, who tells his sons, like being a Kshatriya king, he is also, because it is the highest duty of any Kshatriya king that he has to bring the people to a platform of God realization. Whoever is there, that is their responsibility. And Prabhupada gives in somewhere in Bhagavatam that if they don't do, they are going to take the sin also of the people, that will come to the king. Or if they do pious act also, it will come to king, and sin also, even the king will get the share. So it becomes a responsibility of a king to give people the highest like the Krishna, the highest, how to go back to Godhead. So this knowledge, how to make the life perfection after getting the human life, this knowledge has to be given by the king. So Rishabhadeva gives this teaching where he says that don't, oh my children, or oh my sons, like don't waste your like human life just like cats and dogs. This exactly this word he uses. I mean, it's in Bhagavatam. Okay, so so these people have attained the perfection, is what it says. So anyone wants to read this?
Yes, Mataji.
13th chapter, through knowledge, freedom from material entanglement. Associating with the modes of nature, living entity gets entangled in this material world. 14th chapter, Supreme Lord explains what the modes of nature are, how they act, how they bind, and how they give liberation. Lord says, this knowledge is superior to knowledge given so far. It has helped various great sages attain perfection and get transferred to the spiritual world.
Yes, Hari Bol. So if we understand this knowledge in truth, so then the person can be transferred. I mean, he can attain perfection and transfer to spiritual world. So basically in the chapter 13, we understood, right, how we get entangled because of the association, and we understood how material nature works, how is material nature works, and how is the soul and the super soul, how the soul is knower of the body and super soul is said to be the knower of all the bodies, and how the 24 elements we learned, and how the interaction between these elements is the cause of my all my happiness, whatever happens, happiness, distress, hate, like, dislike, all these things is happening because of the interaction of these things. No, this knowledge we got in the chapter 13, and how so in this chapter 14 we understand how what are these modes and how do they act, so how they bind us. So there are even how the rajoguna bind us, bind a person, or in a sattva also a person get conditioned, in a tamoguna how a person get conditioned. These things we are going to learn, and how they give liberation. Yes, so this is what we saw. Idam ज्ञानमुपाश्रित्य मम साधर्म्यमागताः सर्गेऽपि नोपजायन्ते प्रलयेन व्यथन्ति च. By becoming fixed in this knowledge, one can attain to the transcendental nature like my own. Thus, established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. So what is that meaning? Krishna says here, one can attain the transcendental nature like my own, because basically, qualitatively, we are one. No, we are not, we don't merge with God, but qualitatively, we are one with God. No, but quantitatively, we differ. We are, I mean, it is comparison. Can someone give the analogy that we have learned earlier? How to prove that qualitatively we are one? What is the analogies we saw earlier? How do you say in quality, me and Lord is
Example,
same?
we can take ocean, Mataji.
Yes. Can you tell what is that analogy, Mataji?
Maybe one drop out of
Yes.
the ocean is sea, and Krishna is like ocean. We can't.
Yes. Very nice. So even the one drop is salty. No? The salt we can make out even in the one drop. So similarly, Krishna, I mean, but Krishna is like an ocean. No, we cannot. I mean, it's in quantity we can't even compare. So it is like that. So that is what Krishna says, that we also, the soul has a spiritual identity. No, the soul actually is a spiritual. It gets its spiritual identity when it leaves this material body. When we get liberated, that is what is liberation means. Liberation means when you are not bind by these three modes and you are out of it. So the soul is no more get any bodies unless we come out. I mean, unless we are not out any, there is no desire, single material desire also will make us to come back again to this material world, and then any body I can get. So when the soul is no more getting any material body, then it gets its original spiritual body, then it goes in Vaikuntha. It says that, it is said that in Vaikuntha, everybody has the form like God. For like we can't identify who is who. You know, everybody has a form like a Swarupa. It is called the same Swarupa, equally opulent like God. They all have like a four-handed. In Vaikuntha, usually the everyone has four-handed form, like how Krishna, Lord Vishnu is holding Shankha Chakra Gada Padma. No? So that kind of form is there in Vaikuntha, not in the Goloka. So in Goloka, you can have different rasas, no? Like Shantarasa, Dasya, Vatsalya, and Madhurya, Sakya. So all these rasas we can have, but in Vaikuntha, people get the same opulence like the Lord. So anyone knows the example where, if you have heard, like in Vaikuntha, the people were like that? Any instance? Okay, I don't know if you have read that. In Bhagavatam, it comes basically the Jaya Vijaya pastime. No, Jaya Vijaya, when the doorkeepers in Vaikuntha for Lord Vishnu, so they were also of same opulent. Like they were so opulent, they looked like Lord himself. So that shows that all of them who live in Vaikuntha planet have that. So Krishna says that this knowledge, if somebody gets, so they can attain my transcendental nature. So introduction and glorification. Understanding this chapter help one to attain liberation and transcendental nature like Krishna, knowing which all sages have obtained the supreme perfection. Go to the next one. Mamayo nirmahad brahma tasmin garpa dadamyaham sambhavas sarvabhutanam tato bhavati bharata. The total material substance called Brahman is the source of birth, and it is that Brahman that I impregnate, making possible the birth of all living beings, O son of Bharata. So basically here, Krishna, this Brahman word is used in different contexts. Okay, sometimes to the soul, sometimes to the mind, and here it is said for the material nature. So here Krishna is calling Brahman the material nature. So the Mahatattva, because it is said when Mahavishnu, Lord Vishnu, Mahavishnu glances at the Mahatattva, and then just with his eyes, because Krishna can do anything, right? The Lord can do anything. Just with his glance, then he impregnates the material world. That's how the cosmic manifestation come into existence, because the Lord glances toward it. Otherwise, it won't happen. So here the Mahatattva is compared to the material nature. And Krishna says here that I impregnate, means aham bija pradapita. In other place, Krishna says that I am the seed giving father for everyone. So including this Mahatattva. Just imagine, without Krishna's glance, the material nature is dead. It cannot do anything on its own. So Krishna's glance, if Krishna is not, energy is not there, then there is no material world also. So this we can understand from this. So Krishna is always superior to the material nature. And all that later the living entities are born based on their past deeds in this material world. Sarvayonishu kaunteya murtaya sambhavanti yaha tasam brahma mahatyonir aham bija pradapita. Okay, this is a shloka. Krishna says that I am seed giving father. It should be understood that all species of life, O son of Kunti, are made possible by birth in this material nature, and that I am the seed giving father. So Krishna, unless if even the Lord Brahma, we all the living entities have come from Lord Brahma. But how did Lord Brahma come? It is through Krishna, only through Krishna, right? Who is the Vishnu from whom Lord Brahma was born? What was that name of Vishnu? Which Vishnu was that?
Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu.
Yeah. Okay, what are the three Vishnus?
Shirodaka Sai Vishnu, Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, and
The other one?
Mahavishnu.
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 Karanadar
Yes,
Sai Vishnu or Mahavishnu.
yes, very good. So Mahavishnu or Karanodaka Sai Vishnu, both are same. And from him comes the innumerable universes. He creates. And then Garbhodaka Sai Vishnu, he creates the necessary paraphernalia required to exist in that material universe. That is, he does. So and from him, the Lord Brahma is born, and from Lord Brahma, the 14 planetary system comes, and all different people, like different, because in higher they have different bodily features. So it's not like only in Earth we have this body, which is made of the 5 material elements. No? So in other places it is different, because Prabhupada says even in moon planet there are people, even in sun planet we see that Vivaswan God is there, because they have that kind of body. So everything is made possible by Krishna. So for everyone, Krishna says, I am the seed-giving father. So everywhere, it can be in earth, in water, fire, everywhere there are species. And Krishna is the source for everything. Ishvaraha Sarva Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha Anadiradir Govinda Sarva Karana Karana. So Krishna is the source of everything. So we see this 84 lakh species, right? So all this Krishna is there. Krishna is the soul. So that is why Krishna says that don't harm any living entity, because it is all part and parcel of me. Everyone, all, because he don't say that human beings alone. He says Jiva Bhuta. Jiva Bhuta means living entities. So everyone are my part and parcel. So how soul comes in material world and is placed within the modes of material nature. Material nature is the mother supplying living entity with the body. So the whatever the material body we have, that is given by mother nature, right? How does this develop? Because it all develops based on the food we eat. That's how we gain this all this. We take it from material nature only. That's how we get the material body. And the Lord puts him there by his potent glance and thus impregnates the material nature with the seed. So this is what we see here, right? He is glancing, you can see. Karanodaka Sai Vishnu glances at Rama Devi, and then the creation happened. This is the Mahatattva. So section B, description of binding of the pure soul by 3 modes. Okay, there's an attendance form. Every one of you please mark before the class. It just take, I think, 2 minutes. You can just mark it. Mataji has posted, please. Sattvam rajastamamiti guna prakriti sambhavaha nibadnanti mahabaho dehe dehinam avyayam. Material nature consists of 3 modes: goodness, passion, and ignorance. When the living entity comes in contact with nature, he becomes conditioned by these modes. So these are the 3 modes generally known to everyone. So that the living entity, when it is actually pure by nature, right? The soul is pure, but it gets contaminated once it comes to this material world. That is why Shukadev Goswami didn't wanted to come out from his mother's womb, because he knew, because when he was in mother's womb, he heard the Bhagavatam from his father. When his father was telling Bhagavatam, he understood that material nature is material modes are so strong that when a living entity comes in contact, he immediately gets contaminated and he forgets his real identity. Jivere Swarupa Krishnera Nityadas. We are eternal servants of God, but then we forget. And Prabhupada gives the analogy, just like the raindrop. No, raindrop is so pure, but when it comes in contact with mud, it gets contaminated, it gets polluted. So similarly, we get entangled when we come to this material, and it's all because of the sins we have committed in the previous lives, which we don't remember. The sinful gain, because of the sinful activities, and because of our sinful desires, which makes us entangled and stay in this material world. And yeah, so there's one more example. So just like there's a boat, okay, in ocean. You all have you all heard the ocean current, which will actually show the direction to the boatman. Okay? There are different currents. It is said in the ocean there are different currents. So when there is a boat, so usually some current will pull to him a different direction. No, like that. There are. It is to be understood that this is just like a ocean, and the boat is our human body, and it is pulling us. The three different currents are the three modes. So it is pulling us. Like sometimes you want to be in Sattva-guna, but you are not able to. You must have all experienced, na? Like you don't want to do something, but then you are forced. What is it forcing? No, that force is because of these gunas. But then it is possible. So this I was hearing from some senior devotee. This analogy which he was giving, that an expert boatman, he know to resist against the current one, and he takes a different direction. So similarly, we also, when we take shelter of God, Krishna, then even though some mode, like if it is a mode of passion, is very strong, then I can always divert with the help of Krishna, because when we are really sincere and humble, Krishna will give me the way how to come out of that mode. So that is why, because Krishna is above all these three modes, he can protect us. Krishna says in chapter 7 also, Devi Hesha Gunamayi Mama Maya Duratyaya Mayemave Prapadyante Maya Metam Tarantite. So the divine nature, these all are like Devis, no? Sattva, Rajo, and Tamoguna. So Devi Hesha Gunamayi, she is very the mode of material nature. She is very difficult to cross. Mama Maya Duratre, not easy to cross. But then Mameva ye prapadyante, whoever surrenders unto me can cross this three modes. That's what Krishna says there. So how living entities conditioned and controlled. So this is the eternal soul. It's a pure, transient Satchidananda. Okay. What is Sat? What is Chit and what is Ananda? Yes.
Is it always being happy, Mataji?
Yeah, that is highest. Ananda is that. Blissful. Okay. What is Sat and what is Chit? Because Krishna we call Satchidananda Vigraha. Ishvara Parama Krishna Satchidananda Vigraha. Huh?
Sat is truth.
Sat
Chit
is,
is
that
knowledge.
is, yeah, Sat is, Sat is knowledge. No,
Yeah.
Sat is eternal. Chit is knowledge.
Eternal.
Huh.
Yeah.
Chit is eternal. Sat is knowledge. Chit means eternal. And Ananda. So basically, this
Yes.
in Brahman realization. So in Brahman realization, what do we attain? Which feature? There is a Satchit Ananda. In Brahman realization, what does person attain? Does he attain Ananda in Satchit, in the impersonal realization of Lord?
No.
No. Then what does he attain?
That fourth one is there, no? That,
He must be attaining Chit.
no.
There are three realization. Okay. What are they? First one is Brahman. Second, in God realization, there are three. First one, Brahman. Person thinks that God is just light. And what is the second one? Thinking God to be what?
The
Brahman, Paramatma, Bhagavan.
Ha, Paramatma and Bhagavan.
Brahman.
Very good. So Brahman, thinking Krishna to be light is Brahman. So there only Sat. And when he means he only knows that he is eternal. So only that concept. So he gets liberated and he stays in Brahman platform. But then there is no knowledge, full complete knowledge. So he don't know that their soul is different and super soul is different. He thinks both are same and he's merged and he thinks he got liberated. There is no service. So he come back again, right? So that is Sat. Sat is Brahman, Chit is Paramatma, where the person is in knowledge and he sees Krishna in his heart as a four-handed form of Lord Vishnu, no, in Vishnu form. So he sees that is Chit. And Ananda is complete realization of God, where person understand that God has a form, Krishna has a form, he has qualities, no? Krishna has qualities, Nama, Rupa, Guna, Adi. So he has a form, has a name. Krishna, he also has a name. He's not like he don't have a name. He's not an impersonal. He's a person. He's a Purusha. So these things is understood in Ananda feature. So this person can attain. We saw in the previous this one, the stages of consciousness, no? From the lower level to how one person comes to the Jnanamaya, I mean Manomaya, Annamaya. From Annamaya is the lowest. Annamaya, and then Manomaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and then Anandamaya. No, Anandamaya means getting connected with the Lord. So that is the highest. So this soul is also the same platform. This is the Satchit Ananda. Comes in contact.
Can you
with
repeat the kosha again, Mataji? Annamaya.
koshas.
Yeah, Annamaya.
See, Annamaya kosha. So the person is in a thinking that he only want food to eat, eating and sleeping. That's like more like an animal platform. Don't know anything about that there is something soul, that there is one janma. I mean, there's again I'm going to be born. This concept is not there. Eating, sleeping, he's happy, right? So that is Annamaya kosha. And then comes Manomaya. Manomaya means where the senses, I mean, he knows that there is a living entity in other, the living, I mean, the other entities also living. So that thing he knows. And then living, Manomaya, and then Jnanamaya, knowing that I am not body, I am soul. That knowledge is there in Jnanamaya. Then Vijnanamaya, right? Vijnanamaya, no, Jnanamaya is knowing in the platform of thinking, feeling, and willing. That is in the platform of mind. Okay. And in Jnanamaya, it is knowing that I am not body, I am soul. Vijnanamaya is, I mean, Anandamaya, sorry. Vijnana, what did I say? Anandamaya, Manomaya, Jnanamaya, Vijnanamaya, and then the in Vijnanamaya, it is like realization and putting in practice. And Anandamaya, you are already realized. No, you know that Krishna is Lord and what is your actual position. So those things are we saw, right? So that person, so he's when he's coming into contact with the eternal soul, with the material mode of nature, what happens? He get conditioned either with mode of goodness or passion or ignorance. Conditioned by modes, the living entity is forced to act according to these modes. So the three modes of material nature are the mode of goodness. So the how the person's action will be, he'll be very pious, he will do good work, he will not harm others. No, he's by nature, he's very pious. And in the mode of passion, the person is very over ambitious, not just ambitious, he over ambitious because he want to earn more, he want to be better than others. So that thing is there in Rajasic mode. And the mode of ignorance, the person basically they're more of foolish. So we'll see in the different gunas now. So how each guna is making a person to get conditioned and stay in material world, so that we understand now. First one is sattva guna. Tatra sattvam nirmalatvat prakashakam anamayam sukha sangena badnati jnana sangena chanaga. O sinless one, the mode of goodness, being purer than others, is illuminating, and it frees one from all sinful reaction. Those situated in that mode develop knowledge, but they become conditioned by the concept of happiness. So what is it saying? Basically, when a person is in pious mode. I mean, he's doing all pious activities in a mode of goodness. He usually is helping others. No, he's helping others, and he's not engaging in any sinful activities. So he's free from all those sinful reactions. So that he becomes very knowledgeable, and he has a very he can lead a very happy life. And but what will happen? It is also binding. It says here, they become conditioned by concept of happiness because they have everything in life. They're happy. So what happens? That can sometimes the knowledge can bring pride, kind of pride. Okay, I know so much. No, I'm very happy. I'm very. I mean, God has given. I mean, they will be having a very settled life, right? They in terms of monetary aspect also, and everything is fine. So that sometimes the pride may come, and then what happens? They will not be able to get liberated because they don't aspire for higher thing like God. They think everything is fine in my life. Why do I need God? Huh? That can come. So examples are like this scientists and philosophers, Prabhupada says, because they're all very highly qualified and they have very good life. They are in sattva guna only because they're not agitated or anything. They are very much in control of their senses. But then what happens? They forget that there is something above this. No? So that's how sattva guna is also gets us conditioned. So now we see how rajoguna makes us conditioned. Rajo ragatmakam vidhi trishna sanga samudbhavam tani badnati kaunteya karma sangena dehinam. The mode of passion is born of unlimited desires and longings. O son of Kunti, and because of this, one is bound to material fruitive activities. So what is this sign of Rajoguna? If somebody is in Rajoguna, he have unlimited desires. So basically hankering for lot of sense gratification thing. And he always looks for like somebody should respect me, they need to honor me, right? And the people are too much attached to their family. Prabhupada says that mam mameti, no, me and mine. So this concept is not good. When the person is so much attached like that, then there is no hope for liberation. So this is Rajoguna. Now the Tamoguna. Tamastvajnanat jam vidhi mohanam sarvadehinam pramadalasya nidrabis tani bhadnati bharata. O son of Bharata, the mode of ignorance causes the delusion of all living entities. The result of this mode is madness, indolence, and sleep, which binds the conditioned soul. So basically, it is like he has everything. The soul is there, but it is more like in a dead. No, there's no life there. The soul is there, the consciousness is there, but there is no life there. So he always feels like lack of enthusiasm. No, there's no the spirituality is not interested. More like his moods are always unstable. He gets angry very quickly, gets irritated, and he may his action also may be very foolish. I mean, he may harm others. No, we see whatever crimes happen and these things. These are all in mode of ignorance because they don't know what they do. They're like addicted to, I mean, people who are addicted to many intoxicants they take, and these killing animals, everything, because they don't know what is the action they are doing. So what will happen if such people, if they're in a mode of ignorance, then there is a likely they will take birth in animal species in their next lives. So passion binds the rope of desire and characteristics. Yeah. So basically, Prabhupada gives in purport that how a person in mode of passion gets entangled in material world. Main thing is the attraction towards the opposite sex. It can be man or woman. So that is the one which is making them more attached. I mean, because of the desire, the sense gratification, right? So that's how he get bound. How mode of passion binds a living entity. Okay. So we think that this is modern advancement of modern civilization, like constructing a lot of industries. These are things people consider, or having a bigger car than my neighbor. That we think is the advancement, or making more money. But that is all is considered to be in mode of passion. So products we can see here: hankering for material enjoyment and sense gratification, want honor in society, want happy family, children, etc. To construct a residence for sense gratification, one works hard for palatial house as if it is eternal, thus bound by fruits of work. Because he cannot work without, if there is no fruits for his action. No, he always look for. He gets interest to work only when there is something in return he getting. So that kind of thing is in Rajoguna. So what is their destiny? There's no chance for depression. So in ignorance, how ignorance binds. So causes delusion for all embodied living entities. So we saw this: madness, sleep, which bind ignorance. Ignorance is just the opposite of mode of goodness. Under the spell of ignorance, one cannot understand thing as it is. 2 indicates it is very peculiar for embodied soul. So because usually this we also see in, I think, chapter 17 or 18 it comes, where a person sees the right to be wrong and wrong to be right. I think in 18th chapter, when it speaks about the different actions, the intelligence in 3 modes, the determination in 3 modes, everything differs. Intelligence of a person differs based on the mode he is in. Like that. So here he forgets, when a person is in mode of ignorance, in the mode of Maya, under the spell of Maya, he forgets what is right and what is wrong. So that is why he engages. Because do you think that the person who is engaged in even in stealing something, or a thief, he thinks that he is doing wrong thing. He always feels that what he has a reason for it. He thinks that he is doing right because he has some reason. No, why? Because that is covered. Because of the ignorance, he comes under the spell of Maya. So how is it manifested? Sleeps, it's madness and laziness. So 6 hours, Prabhupada says, for us, 6 hours is sufficient. Actually, Prabhupada and all used to sleep only for 2 hours, but we cannot imitate. We need at least 6 hours. 6-7 hours we need. But in ignorance, if the person sleep 10 to 12 hours, and always he feels dejected, addicted to intoxicants. So there also the destiny is no liberation. So this is again the repeat how all the 3 modes are binding. Sattvam sukhe sanjayati raja karmani bharata jnanamavritya tu tamaha pramade sanjayati uta. The mode of goodness condition one to happiness, passion condition him to fruits of action, ignorance to madness. The influence of 3 modes has not spared anyone, learned and illiterate, due to long bondage with material nature. So the mode of goodness also, they get bondage because of the pride that may come when they get knowledge. So it doesn't matter if a person is rich or poor or learned or illiterate, everybody are in the 3 modes, rich and poor also. And person in the mode of goodness is satisfied by work of or intellectual pursuit. A man in mode of passion may engage in fruitive activity. He owns as much as he can and spends for good cause. Sometimes he tries to open hospitals, give to charity institution also. Okay, this all is mode of goodness. When a person is in mode of goodness, he want to help others. No, he can do all this charitable works. Mode of ignorance covers knowledge. Whatever one does is good neither for him nor for anyone, because he harms himself also. Because by taking this intoxicants, obviously he's harming his body, his own body, his mental stability, everything is getting affected, and he's harming others also. Because when he has taken that those things, he don't know what he acts, no, because that that makes him act in that way. So now the recognizing the supremacy of mode within a person. Rajas tamas cha bhibhuya sattvam bhavati bharata rajasattvam tamas chaiva tamas sattvam rajas tatha. Sometimes the mode of goodness becomes prominent, defeating the mode of passion and ignorance. O son of Bharata, sometimes the mode of passion defeats goodness and ignorance, and at other times, ignorance defeats goodness and passion. In this way, there's always competition for supremacy. So these three modes trying to dominate one another. Now, sometimes the mode of goodness. So usually in the mornings, early morning, that mode of goodness prevail. So that is why that time we need to make. Why we have to engage in devotional service and do the chanting and all that, so that making my mind. To bring my senses in control, to be more strict with my mind, because otherwise what happens usually early morning we don't feel like getting up, no. But then if you uh, 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 train your mind that doesn't matter what time you sleep, you have to get up morning for japa, no. In that way, because that time I want to give for Krishna, the other time I can do anything else, but then early morning I will give time for Krishna. So that if we have make such kind of commitment, so then what happens, we can develop more into mode of goodness. Otherwise it is not possible, no, because I know that that is the thing which is going to bring me the highest advantage, the devotional service. So then why not I connect to God? Why should I listen to my mind? Because mind is usually more attracted to material thing, and more of it tries to distract me from Krishna. No, it is more interested in material activity, mind, because mind is material. Mind, Krishna says, no, the things like the 8 things which are of material. So in the chapter 7, apareyamitasvanyam. So where Krishna says that the not that one, before that, bhumirapo nalavayu kamano buddhi revacha hankara itiyame bhinna prakriti rashtada. These are my material energies, which include the 5 material element, and also mind, intelligence, and mind, intelligence, false ego. So mind is a material. So if you have to come to mode of goodness, you have to train your mind. You should not listen to the mind. That's why Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Prabhupada said, every morning you have to, when we get up, you have to beat your mind 100 times with the slippers, and then night also we have to beat the mind, so with the broomstick. No? In that way, you have to control your mind. Otherwise, mind is not. It's not like mind is a friend for everyone. For everyone, it is most of the time it will act like an enemy. So if you give control, if you give the control to it, then it is very difficult. You should mind has to be always a slave to you. The soul, it has to listen to the you have to develop your intelligence in such a way that the mind is under control. And how do you develop intelligence? Krishna says, dadami buddhi yogam tam yena mam upayanti tito. So whoever worship me, take my shelter, I will give that necessary intelligence. So that everything is connected. So these things can dominate the different modes, but then when we start giving that the soul, the need of the soul, you get up early in the morning, do your chant, finish your chanting, then see, okay, then you experience when you really do your the 16 round chanting in the morning, early morning, and then your whole day will be so fresh, and then it is like a protection from Maya. Nothing, the other modes cannot attack you. So that is why, yeah. Sarvadvareshu dehesmin prakasha upajayate jnanam yada tada vidyat vividdham sattvamiti uta. The manifestation of the mode of goodness can be experienced when all the gates of body are eliminated by knowledge. So currently what has happened, our knowledge is clouded. It's not able to see or clear things properly, because we have lot of fear in us. We have so much of anxiety. No, we are not able to make proper decisions. So all this disturbance is there in our mind. So, but then what will happen when a person starts to develop this mode of goodness? Slowly, he starts to get clarity. So basically, when a mode of goodness is there, the person has very good clarity, and he can differentiate exactly what is good, what is bad for him. That clarity he will get. So what will happen then? Then it is said, body, all the gate of the body is eliminated. So that means, what are the 9 gates? You all remember the 9 gates of the body?
Yeah.
What are they?
Two nostrils,
Hmm.
2 eyes,
Yeah.
2 ears,
Yes.
then
Genital and anus.
genital and
anus.
anus.
Yes, very good. So these are the 9 gates. So how do they get eliminated? So a person will have taste to hear only the good things, or to hear about more about Lord, and then he want to taste that right thing, or want to have only prasad. And he becomes like more and more get cleansed. The person becomes there's very less of anxiety in him. No, so basically all this whichever is clouded, it's like a fog. If there is in a road, there is a fog in the early morning, no, when you drive you cannot see. It's very blur, you can't see. So similarly, now it is the situation is like that for us. But when a person comes into mode of goodness, what happens? That fog will go. When there is a sun, no, when sun comes, all fog will go. Similarly, when knowledge comes, that acts like a the sun. The knowledge is like a sun. It removes all the fog, and then I know what is right for me. So then that is why it is said, in the sattva guna everything is uh, uh, eliminated. लोभ प्रवृत्तिर आरंभः कर्मणाम अशमा स्पृहा राजसी एतानि जायन्ते विवृद्धे भरतर्षभा. Of chief of Bharatas, when there is an increase in the mode of passion, the symptoms of great attachment, uncontrollable desire, hankering, and intense endeavor develop. So the people mostly in Kali Yuga are in this mode of passion, because everybody want to advance in terms of material. I mean, having more of opulence, material opulence, and for that you need to I mean, you have to work so hard, no, because you cannot be happy unless somebody praises you. You want that appreciation in society. You want to because we always think that happiness is outside. So we don't realize that happiness is actually within me. The soul is having capacity to make itself happy, but then I'm looking it for outside, and I want appreciation from others. So when that is the thing, then that is what happens. If you want in outside world, how do they appreciate? When a person is his success is usually in terms of money, no, is it not? In outside world, basically a person, how do they what is the definition of success in material world? What is the definition? Yeah, how do the people call you are successful? You should have some big bungalow, should have very good bank balance, so that is the success, right? So then what person does, he feels that okay, for that success then I have to do whatever I don't mind. I want whatever work I engage, but then I want to earn more money and I have to get good name in the society, right? So that is a again binding. So this person is said to be in Rajoguna. So in mode of passion, one is never satisfied with position he has acquired. So he wants more and more. How much ever he get, he's never happy, because there's always a better, no? You cannot never become a best. Whenever, whatever aim you may keep, but then there is next step, there is somebody much higher to you. Always it is there. So it is impossible that we can be happy in material world if we are looking for happiness outside. So he hankers to increase it. For residing, he wants a palatial house. He thinks he's going to live eternally in that house. Hankering for endless sense gratification. Always want to be attached to his family and enjoy perennially. Now, mode of ignorance. Akasho pravrittischa pramado moha evacha tamasyetani jayante vivridde kurunandana. O son of Kuru, when there is an increase in mode of ignorance, madness, illusion, inertia, and darkness are manifested. So, this person who is in ignorance, he's always in trouble. So, now also in this life, he's in trouble. When he dies, also in trouble. Because why? Because he has to go back. I mean, all his the Yamadutas are waiting, and he has to go back to he's going to take in an animal life or the darkest planet. No? So even Ishopanishad says, Andha tama pravishanti ye avidyam upasate tato bhuya ivate tamo ya vidyayam rataha. Basically, it is like whoever worship the avidya, the not the real knowledge, or the one more place it says like Atmahana, the killer of the soul. So the person thinking that he's just a body, and also he always think that his happiness is dependent on others. So only if he cannot make himself happy. He always wants somebody else, and he acts always whimsically. All right, whatever he comes to mind, he does not following any shastras, or he does not follow any regulative principles. No, like though he has a capacity to work, but he is not acting so. So basically, the consciousness is said to be though consciousness state is there, but he's more like a dead body. No, he's not interested in doing anything. So we see even in children when they are engaged in this mobile games, they don't have interest in anything. I mean, it's very dangerous also for the children. No, it's not only harms physically, even it harms their mental health. The I mean, they become so addicted with this mobile thing and all that. I mean, really, they are not. I mean, we see that kids are getting affected much because the radiation is so high. It is affecting their brain also, and they like there are many diseases also which are related when a child is addicted more to this mobile. And also we see that in online, I don't know if you have heard, there are some games where children have committed suicide also. I mean, there's some, I don't remember the name of the game. I had a few years back, like the online gamer, somebody, he was making I mean, every day they'll give some task, and these children, they perform. So you should be very careful when you are allowing your kid to play online game, because we don't know, because the other person, there is some person, and they're asking them to do some different task every day, and they do, and finally he'll ask them to die and show that photo or something like that. I don't know, because kids are so innocent. Many people lost their life, no, and then they banned that game. So there was something like that. Anyone knows the name of the game?
It starts from P, some Pio or something like that.
Something yeah.
It starts from P.
Yeah, some game. Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So it is very dangerous. So this is in complete mode of ignorance, because that knowledge is not. That is why it is very important to give the children also the right knowledge in the very small age. Kaumaram Acharito Pragnadi. So Prahlad Maharaj also said, like, it is very much essential that we give this God consciousness for children from childhood. What will happen when that is given to children? They become really strong mentally. No, they are very much in Sattva Guna. They're chanting. I mean, we see the children, right? I mean, the small children, the devotees children, how nicely they are engaged, and they're in Sattva Guna. They don't get into all these things. So this has to come from home, right? So in mode of ignorance, there's no,
Mataji, PUBG. The game is PUBG, Mataji.
PUBG. Is it
correct,
PUBG?
PUBG. Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
correct. PUBG, correct.
Now have they banned it?
Yes. Modi
Banned,
Modi
na?
banned it. Yes.
Yeah, okay. And there was something else also I heard, something fish name, the shark, or I don't know, there was some fish name it was having. That was also like that, like making the children to very dangerous task. He will ask, that person will ask them to do, and these children used to do that. I don't know how they can do that to very. It's not a very small children. The children who were in 9th, 10th also. So just imagine like what would be their mental thing, like how they have been brought up, or all these mobile games does them. I mean, the real intelligence is lost. So in the mode of ignorance, there is no elimination, no knowledge. One does not work by a regulative principle, act whimsically, does not work though he has the capacity to do, right? He has capacity, but he doesn't do. He's always illusioned, and consciousness is there, but life is inactive. So these are the symptoms. Okay, from this we will continue tomorrow, section D. Okay. Thank you, everyone. Any questions on today's chapter? We can see. Vancha kalpatarubhyascha kripa sindhubhyeva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha koti vaishnavadiki chayana chayadasta kopi Srila Prabhupada. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay.
Krishna Mataji. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Okay. Is any questions?
No, Mataji.
Yes, Mataji. Can you
Yeah.
repeat the Sat Chit Anand?
Okay. Sat
Sat
means eternal. Eternal.
Okay. Yes.
Okay. So Chit means knowledge,
Yes.
and Anand means blissful, being always happy. Anand.
Okay.
The name itself says, na, Anand.
Yes.
Yes.
Sat means eternal.
Sat is eternal.
Eternal knowledge and
Because soul
blissful.
is not taking birth or anything. It's always there. Na? Eternal means always there. So that concept, the eternal concept.
Mataji,
Okay,
none of
thank you,
the
Mataji.
slide,
Hare
there was
Krishna.
some Durga Devi's, right? I did not observe that. None of the slide,
Okay.
I think.
Okay. What is the question, Mataji?
I just wanted to ask, like, what is that photo related to? The slide.
Okay, let me have to go. I have to go back and see. Durga Devi.
With the Trishul, I think.
Yeah, 1 second.
Lord Vishnu will be lying and um,
Okay. This one.
I can't see it, Mataji.
Oh, have I not shared? Oh,
No.
No.
okay. 1 second. So this one?
No, next to this, I think. It is glancing at nature, and after this or something.
No, this only is there. This only Durga, no?
One more slide, I think, Mataji. After this. Before this slide, Mataji.
Oh, this
This
one,
one.
Yeah, Durga is only the Maya, no? She is the one who is taking care of this material world. Durga. So that is why they have given that picture, I think.
Okay, because she was above standing, right? So I thought.
Oh, okay. No. She see her hands, no? She's paying obeisances only. So yeah, because even in Brahma Samhita also it is said, like Shrishti Sthiti Pralaya Sadhana Shakti Reva something. I'm not getting that. Not Shakti Reva. Chaye Vayasya Bhuvanani Bhibarti Durga Ichchanurupamapi Yasya Chacheshtate Cha Govindamadi Purusham Tamaham Bhajami. So this Srishti, Sthiti, Pralaya. So all the three things are handled by Durgi, but then she's doing the maintenance of this material world. She's only taking care, but by the guidance of Krishna. That is what that says. So she is, what is this actually, this shloka? By becoming fixed in knowledge, one can attain to transcendental nature like my own. Thus established, one is not born at the time of creation or disturbed at the time of dissolution. So one gets the qualitatively we are one with God. So this is just a picture, Mataji, nothing like you can see here also. Like
Yeah.
Arjuna and Krishna discussing, like when Gita is saying to Krishna. So basically this only like she she is the one who is based on instruction. She's controlling. She's a controlling deity, controlling in the sense maintaining this material world. So that is why this is called as Durg. So she's a Durgi.
Can
So,
she also create universes, Mataji? I mean, since she is managing this material world, can she also
no.
create?
No. That is told by Mahavishnu only, na? Universe
Ah.
is coming out of Mahavishnu only. Yes. There is nothing related to this verse or anything. I
Yeah.
think it's just a image. Yeah.
Yeah, thanks, Mataji.
Yeah. Hare Krishna. Okay. No other questions?
Masaji, the slide number text 8, the 2 points I have missed it. That is 1, 2, 3, 4. Can you just display the slide?
Which one?
Text 8 slide.
This one 8 or?
The 3 modes of material nature. No, next. The next one.
This one?
No, next one.
This one?
Yeah, no. This is correct. Next one, next 8 ka ye.
8 na?
Yeah. Yeah, correct. This one.
Okay, you want to take a screenshot?
Yeah. No, I have taken. Yeah, correct. Yeah, I no chance of liberation. What is their destiny? I have not noted down here. Yeah,
It's
no.
clear now?
Hey,
Okay.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Okay. Very good. Nice. Okay. So see you all tomorrow then. If there are no questions, then we can close. So tomorrow we'll complete this chapter. Okay, we all can chant together. Hare Krishna 3 times.
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining. Hare Krishna, everyone. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.